Hello, my dear friends. Welcome back to Elena's Bar Low Impact Full Body Workouts. I'm today with Sam, and we might have a few people joining us as we start. And today we have a freestyle actually. We can debunk some of the content. You tell us what you are up to. I have a few misleading messages for you to go through to debunk, and then we can talk about relationships, and you can call in and share your story, guys. So I'm going to share the link with you because I couldn't do it before. Here is the link to our conversation here that you can click on and call to share your story. Then here, I'm going to give you the link to check out the other activities that we are running here on Elena's Bar, and you can sign up for Elena's Bar Cross Training Fitness Program there. Anyway, yeah, while we are here with Sam, tell me what you've been up to this week.
Oh man, this last week? Well, aside from my job, I have been setting up for it's like a triathlon event that's happening here in Port Angeles, Washington. It's called the Big Hurt. It's a kayak, bike, and run event. And it's kind of like an Ironman style, triathlon event. So I've been setting up for that. And I have been working on converting somebody's garage into an additional dwelling unit. So those are the things
Wow.
that keep me busy, and a podcast here and there.
Nice. Yes, and that video that you did with Casey, you were talking about fitness.
That's correct. Yeah, we went into detail. We talked about fitness because he's a strength and conditioning coach. We talked about fitness, talked about nutrition, talked about some of his other experiences like musical background or hiking the Appalachian Trail. That was kind of a crazy topic. I thought that was pretty awesome that he did that.
Wow, I see a lot of musicians in the Red Pill community. That's so cool.
It is cool. Yeah.
People bring so much talent here. Okay, what else? Can you tell us your view on nutrition, please, just in case people are wondering, and we might have a few people from Elena's Bar Fitness community joining us. Tell us what's your take on nutrition.
Wow. We'll take it with a grain of salt, first of all, because I have no formal background in it and hardly any understanding of like the biology behind it. So I can really only speak to what I've done. But my basic concept is, trash in, trash out. So if I want stable energy, and I have I guess high metabolism. I'm not sure what I would describe as, but I could pretty much eat anything and I'm going to look the same. But if I eat junk, then I'm going to lose out on some like more consistent energy and things like that. So if I'm eating well, I'm usually eating typical meal is like eggs, meat, cheese, and tomatoes in some kind of combination. And I don't know if that works for everybody. I just know that it works for me, and it gives me a whole lot of consistent energy. So I can occasionally I'll mix in things like dairy, of course, dairy and like a carbohydrate of some kind every now and then. But I don't try to do a bunch of carbs all at once because then I'll have plenty of energy, but then I'll crash. So yeah, for the stuff that I do, I am very physically engaged in my work, in my day job, and in the stuff that I'm doing outside of my day job. So I need to be able to do that like maybe 10 to 12 hours a day every day. So
Yeah,
that's what I eat, and seems to be working for me.
I noticed that the more I exercise, the more I need to eat
Yeah, I
because
believe
you
that.
spend so much energy. And the problem is that a lot of former athletes have how their muscles convert into fat if you don't exercise and don't change your diet. It becomes really hard. I've seen former athletes, they used to pick up the weights and do some crazy things at the gym. And then something happens in their life that prevents them from exercising, but they don't alter their diets.
Yeah.
And all of that muscle that they've built up, it just becomes fat.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
see a fair amount of that in the little bit of the gymnastics community that I have been
Mhm.
able to see, is that, you know, when people are actively competing and working out all the time,
Mhm.
they're burning insane amounts of energy.
Yeah,
And if they get injured or they stop competing or anything like that, you know, if you don't adjust properly, then yeah, you're not going to maintain that same shape.
sure. Yeah, nutrition, guys, is as important as the workout. And I keep saying to you, I don't have a license in dietary. I can't give you a specific dietary advice. You should definitely consult your dietitian, your doctor, to make sure that you are eating a well balanced diet. And yeah, you need to watch it. You need to watch it. You can't just binge on sweets and expect that it will work for you. It's an interesting topic. Okay, we have accounting ship joining us here. Hi, accounting ship. Good to see you. Nice. Okay. Looks like we are going to do some debunking here. Since people don't call in, feel free to call in, guys. I'm going to add you as we go. Here, recording. Okay. Just a quick disclaimer here. This is not a personal attack. It shouldn't be perceived as such. I know that many people will take it as a personal attack. This is why I'm bringing it up here, guys, to your attention. We are only challenging your belief system, your actions, and what you say publicly. If you do not want your content to be challenged in any way and cannot handle any constructive criticism without taking it as a personal attack, do not put misleading and confusing content publicly. Challenge yourself, challenge your own assumptions and your own message. Try to anticipate what people will do with it, okay? Content creators should be more accountable for the messages they share with others. Good, trustworthy content contributes to the well being of our societies. Thank you for your understanding. I have to do it because, people who are joining us, yeah. Okay, coming back to this guy, I see a lot of this lately. The guys are talking about relationships and they're giving the misleading recommendations to women that women follow. And they also tell guys how to be more simping for women. Am I frozen? No. How to simp for women. I've debunked a good chunk of them on my Instagram in the stories. If you want to go through them, we can do it. Let me just share a screen with you, see if we can actually pick up the actual messages. Okay. We've never done it. I want to give it a try to share the screen with you guys, and then you'll be able to see the message and also hear it. I'll share with you my personal bullshit folder on Instagram with a lot of content here. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Present, share screen. Yeah. Can you see it? Yes. Okay. Okay, good. Now we'll try to
5 places to touch a man to show interest. Oh my god.
let's watch this one. Yeah, this guy is so cute and funny. We debunked him already. Just now you're going to see him how he looks.
Oh, jeez.
Oh wait, there is
No sound.
Hold on.
Oh, just try the button. Yeah.
Okay, where is the button here?
You almost touched it.
Yes, really. I can't see it because I need to. Oh gosh, I need to stop sharing if
It's in the bottom right, almost
okay,
a little lower. There we go. You got it.
Well, if I do it, it will stop sharing. You know, I have like double layer on it.
You fixed it. It looks like the sound is on now.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, now it's just not sharing through StreamYard, I guess.
Okay, once. Is it sharing it? No. Okay. I want to start over. Okay, let's do. Can you see it, Sam?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Still no sound. Oh, God.
Did you hear it?
No, I couldn't hear it, but I was reading all the words.
Oh, what happened? Wait a second. Why couldn't you hear it?
Just probably StreamYard not streaming the sound through your computer, I'm assuming. But I mean, it's got captions, so I got the message.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I think you were trying to tell me that you couldn't hear it. Oh my gosh. How should I fix it? The first time, did you hear his voice or no?
Nope. I have not heard his voice at all.
Even the first time? Bummer. Interesting. Yeah. Well, anyway, what do you think?
I think it's interesting. I mean, I don't think he said anything incorrect, though. At the little part he had to add at the end about like make sure you wait, before touching a man's pee-pee. Got to make sure you have some kind of emotional connection first. And it's like, okay, well, that's not helpful advice. But I thought it was unnecessary for like the points he was making. But I don't think any of this stuff is stuff you need to be like teaching women. They're going to understand body language and this kind of communication almost instinctually, just because of how probably from just seeing other people do it and just picking up on the fact that like this is something I'm just naturally going to want to do. This is something that you're going to be wired to do as like a mechanism to show like attraction cues. So yeah, I don't think it's necessarily wrong or unhelpful, but in general, physical, like of course there's a range of things here, because you could have more of like a friendship relationship, if you are careful, between a man and a woman, where it's like, okay, a woman might be like hugging a guy or whatever, and it's not necessarily a sign of interest, because that could be a comfort thing. But yeah, I don't know. That's
Yeah, if a woman has a desire, you don't have to tell her what to do.
Yeah.
If she can do it by herself without taking classes.
Yeah, she's gonna come up with her own ways of showing her genuine desire.
Yeah, women are very creative. We just watched a movie yesterday about one guy. He was the only farmer from Mexico who became an astronaut, and he flew um, to the space. And back then, when the movie was made, what was it, 1990, somewhere in there. He met a traditional woman from the traditional family, and then he asked her, if I want to stay with you, what would I have to do? And she basically told him, get married. But then like a lot of ladies would say that too today. The problem is that they don't behave traditional elsewhere when they are married, you see. And then they portrayed that woman as she is very traditional. She really meant it when she said yes to this guy. So it took him decades to get into NASA, and he had to get in shape, he had to learn how to fly, he had to learn a lot of things. And he was, oh my gosh, what's going on here?
Are you saying that he asked her? Oh, she gone. Welcome to my new show, hosted by Elena's StreamYard server, without Elena in it.
I'm
Oh,
here,
she's
Sam.
back.
I don't know what's happened to my camera. My goodness, guys, I'm so sorry. StreamYard is freaking out today.
It's all good. Are you saying that he approached her and asked, what do I need to do?
Well, they kind of started dating, but they couldn't go too far because her father was very strict, and he told him, oh, jeez, do you see this?
That's very green.
Very green. Well, I'm wearing green today, so I guess, guys, you'll have to bear my green face. I don't know
It's
what's
night
going
vision.
on, seriously. Don't worry, Sam. I've got some snacks probably waiting for you to come back. Oh, look at that. See?
Excellent.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on. It doesn't pick up the sound. Rolo was complaining on the StreamYard recently, so I'm having some technical issues too. Anyway, gosh, I just look here and just in this green. So what was I saying?
So they couldn't move forward because Dad was strict.
Yeah, Dad was very strict, and she
Which
was
is not
one
a
of,
bad thing.
yeah. He put his foot in there and he said, no, she's not dating anyone without our supervision. And so basically, she was a virgin when she married the guy. But then they had 4 kids together, and she always dreamed of having a restaurant. She wanted to be a chef in the restaurant, and she had to sacrifice it because she had already 4 kids. I think totally they had 5 kids in the end, just so that he could pursue his dream. But he was also making money while he was doing it. You know, he was providing for the family. So she was very supportive. I think they had one disagreement in there where he didn't tell her that he applied to NASA 11 times. You know, 11 times, or maybe more like 10. And then with her, he applied a couple more times as well. I kind of lost track of it because he basically was applying every single year when he was getting better. And then she asked him, what do they have, the astronauts have, that you don't have? And then he started listing the things, and he said to her, it's going to take all of our savings and all the money. And she just told him, do it. And so he started attending the flying school. He started exercising. He started preparing himself for NASA. And then at some point, she also told him, you need to deliver your application in person because, you know, it can get to the wrong hands, and then maybe they will disregard it. And then he applied it in person. He actually flew in and he said, "It's my 12th application. If you don't take it, I'll be here next year." So he was very determined, very persistent, but he was also an engineer. He was an electrical engineer. He was somebody useful that they could use. And so in the end, he got in, but it was just the beginning of the process because he had to do more training. They had to prepare him for other unforeseen conditions that could happen there. So he didn't only have to be the engineer, he had to be all sorts of things and do. There are only 7 people who fly in, and they had to do each other's work. Oh, now it's yellow. My camera. Oh my god, guys, I'm so sorry. Yeah. Night vision, Elena. Yeah, I guess.
Trademark.
More green for you. So, and then in the process, while he was making money and he got into NASA, a few, like maybe a decade later, he helped her to open her restaurant. So she did pursue her dream, all in all. He helped her, but she had to wait. She had to sacrifice her dream first so that he could pursue his dream, take care of the family, take care of the kids. And then she became a chef in the end. You see, and this is something that women don't want to do today. They don't want to put any sacrifices. They believe that they are owed. You have to commit. You have to sacrifice your frame. You have to help them pursue their life goals, pursue their dreams. They don't have to do anything in the relationship. It's a very good movie. I forgot the name of it. If I find it, I'm so bad with the movies and names. I remember the plot, the idea, but I forget the names. So if I find it, I'll put it later for you in the description box or in the comments to watch. It's a good movie, and it's not a very long movie. It's only like 1 hour and 30 minutes long. But there they were showing how a traditional woman should behave. And unfortunately, a lot of tradcons today, they like the name, they like the title of a traditional woman, but you digging deeper, they're feminists. Because they want the same.
When it comes down to it, they're not willing to sacrifice their
Yep.
ambitions and the things that they might like in life to like fall into the path of a man who's going to theoretically lead them down a good path in life. They don't want to do that. They're not willing to take that risk.
Yep. Yeah, they want things for themselves. And yeah, they sell themselves as, oh, I'm a traditional woman. And this is why the warning to the guys is that if you're falling only for the trends and traditional women, you will be disappointed because you have to do more than just believe in the trends. You have to apply rational criteria when you are choosing a woman. You can't just believe what women tell you. You have to dig in deeper and watch their behavior, because their behavior is not going to lie to you. Their words are going to mislead you so that they can get what they want. And if you don't work on the critical thinking skills, if you can't detect what is lie and what is true, you are not going to be lucky with women. Okay, I really need to check my cables, maybe, Sam. I'm going to mute myself while you talk to people, tell them something. Okay, I'll be right back.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I guess I can maybe try to expand a little bit more on the topic. I mean, there's a certain amount of risk involved in, a woman sacrificing security, taking a risk in like following the path of a man. And I don't say it's unjustified behavior to not do that sometimes, especially if nowadays not all men are as driven and ambitious. You know, that it takes a certain level of uh, it would take a certain level of man to be, first of all, at that point, and it takes a certain caliber of woman to understand that, you know, that he is the right kind of guy, and that she can make that jump. And welcome back. Did you fix it?
Yeah, I think it looks like I just had to restart the page. Yeah,
Perfect.
cool. What were you saying? I missed it.
Yeah, I was basically just saying that, you know, it takes the right combination of masculinity and femininity for a woman to jump into, especially nowadays when like women are so empowered and have all these opportunities to do all these things and make all this money. Um, because for her to abandon her security, she needs to be she needs to know, and or at least have trust that the man she's going to abandon it for is going to long term be a good bet for that and provide her more, if not the same level of security. So, you know, it's probably few and far between men who are capable and understand and have their own frame and are going down that path, and the women who are willing to like let go of certain things to be part of that path. So, not common these days, but nice if you can find it.
Yeah. I wish there were more women like that. We need to do more content for women, but good luck convincing women to let go of their power and control.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think content is going to be the solution
I
to helping
know.
them.
Well, it makes big part of it. This is what I brought up to the relationship female gurus, because I noticed that all they do is they just take what the red pill presents to them, they tweak it around, add some fluff to it, and then present it to men. They don't try to even solve the problem. I know the problem, like chances are you're not going to fix it. You are not going to change women's behavior, right? But at least try, try to convince them and educate them about what's coming for them. Because you can see statistics doesn't lie. You can see what happens to all the women who follow this. I'm strong, powerful, and independent woman. I can do everything by myself. Watch what happens to them. We are not doing anything fancy here. We are just trying to explain to younger women so that they don't fall for the same trap as older women do. Because it's useless to try and fix older women. They are going to pay for their mistakes. All of the choices have consequences, and this is the consequence that they have to bear, because they chose that path. For younger women, the message should be don't do as older women do. But then what can we say when we see all of these even male gurus who say, oh, yes, be like a simp for her, do what she tells you to do. And there was one guy, I wanted to bring him here just in a moment. We'll see how StreamYard is going to do with this one. When he was saying that you are not in love if you don't pedestalize her. Basically, this is what he is saying to men. But women also get this kind of message. They get this idea from this relationship gurus for men too. And this is why they say, okay, see, even men are saying this. So the problem is not just the relationship female gurus, it's also the male coaches who are coaching men. They are telling men how to be simp, how to be a simp, how to be somebody that women don't like, women disrespect.
I think I think that's interesting that there's, you know, obviously the stuff that you listen to and learn is going to shape your it's going to shape your personality and what you think of the world to some extent. But I think it's more important for men to realize that they need to just do. They need to just like fix themselves, solve problems, and like try to just like do their life better, because at the end of the day, even girls that learn these lessons, learn these incorrect lessons about, you know, other people's perception of reality, at the end of the day, they're still going to instinctually respond the correct way when the right guy is around. So even though they may like consciously think the wrong things, when the right situation happens, it's still going to like produce the same results. So like I can, you know, there's a gray area, right? So like there's a range of women between like just like absolutely crazy feminist to like, oh, she just kind of been brought up in a feminist culture, but like has some good traditional roots maybe. And so there's like a range there. But for the most part, if you are like even the craziest, I have seen it in person, like the craziest, most feminist, like yay women's power, I'm a boss babe kind of thing, like when that's confronted like head on with some of the most like direct, you know, what you might call uh like strong frame in person, and they like clash, and it's like when they're talking about the topics it goes terribly, but as soon as they stop talking about the topics, it's like, oh, by the way, if you pay attention, the body language and the actual interaction that's happening here is very positive at the end, right? So it's like, you know, it was an Access Vegas show that I was in Vegas for, where I got to watch some of that interaction afterwards, and I was like, yeah, I mean, it's like women can learn some of the wrong things, but I think it's fortunate that at the end of the day, as long as the man's got his head on straight and knows how to interpret the situation and make things like flow smoothly, you know, it's only going to matter somewhat. Now, maybe it doesn't work in like a long-term like relationship, because if it's going to cause like, you know, problems in child raising, and like you're going to try to teach the improper lessons to children, then that's important. But at the end of the day, your actions and the way people interact with you are going to teach people about who you are way more than what you say or do, or way more than what you say. It's what you do.
Yeah.
So,
well, and in that movie that I was talking about, he was a beta. He was a simping guy. He was a basic engineer raised in a multi-kids family. Very hard-working guy. You know, he used to plant corn with his parents, and they used to move around. And then one day he wanted to quit, but he had a very good father, who sacrificed his house, everything, and just moved the whole family, all the five or how many kids? It's a big family. They had 4 kids or somewhere in there, and they moved to the U.S. so that the kids could have better life.
mm-hmm.
And then he was grown, he was working. They had to work in the morning, like 4 in the morning, and then go to school, do the school homework, then come back, work again. So the life wasn't fun for them. But it's something that, you know, he was not like a strong masculine guy out there per se, but the woman still chose him. You know, so she really had sincere desire in him. And
this was a movie, right?
it's based on the true story. This is why I bring it up. It's a true story. It actually happened to one of the farmers from Mexico. They did change the characters a little bit, but then in the end they showed the real guy and his family, and it really happened. It really did happen. So he did become an astronaut. It's fascinating that even but it happened earlier in history, you see, when and she was raised in a very traditional way. Her dad was there to, like, no, you're not doing this. No, only pre-approved guy, and after certain conditions are met. Yeah. And then she was a good wife. She was a marriageable material afterwards. If you look at it from like intersexual dynamics kind of theme, you can see that she was a very well raised girl, and she got the engineer. In the end, she got a nice guy. It was a huge upgrade for her. Women now, they don't realize they have all of this power, all of this control. There is so much men can do to outbeat that women already have, that women have already done for themselves. So it's very hard to compete with women, even on a monetary standpoint, because women are independent now. They have their money, they do whatever they want to do, and then they are always looking for more, for the guy who can give them more. There are only a few guys like that in the whole world. So they are competing against a huge number of women who want exactly the same thing, because most women are strong and independent today. You see the problem here, Sam? If before women were relying on protection and financial security from a man, and they wouldn't even care whether the man has masculine traits or not, because he was totally simping for her when they were dating, and he, even in the marriage, he kind of, was what we would call a simp today. But because he was an upgrade for her still, even not being super masculine out there, she still chose to be with him. You see, nowadays, it's not enough just to provide the status and financial security. A man has to do other things in addition to that, which is a lot of work.
Yeah, I think you're kind of hitting the nail on the head there. There's so much gap now that's between average dudes and, like, the top 5%, top 10%, whatever you want to call it. I mean, the breadth and depth of the types of skills you need to have and what you need to know, what you need to be capable of, the resources you have access to. That is, the gap between the haves and the have-nots is only getting bigger, it seems. And that's kind of part of the way the whole the market is going. And I don't want to be a have-not, so
Yeah,
everybody gets to choose, and some people are okay with less, and that's okay, because there's a place for everybody. But there's just like on the male side, there is a range on the female side. That not all girls end up OnlyFans thoughts and are still in places where they're okay with not the Lamborghinis and not the private jets and not the all of the boats and yachts and things that come along with resources.
there are a lot of good guys out there. They might be a little nerdy. Yes, I actually, accounting ship asks, I'm curious about Elena's definition of masculine.
Define masculine,
Define
Elena.
masculine, yeah. Oh gosh. Um, I'm actually not. I don't have like super high standards for the guy, but it's me. I was raised in a family with the dad, and when I found my husband, well, he had to be physically fit, right? Obviously, he has to have some strengths, but I wasn't looking for like a super athletic guy out there with a six-pack abs. He has to provide. He has to be financially stable. And then he really has to not take my crap. Like, seriously, I would not have respected my husband if he was simping for me. This was something that my dad never did with me. He would be like, no, you are on your own now.
And we all know Elena dishes it out.
Yes, my dad was pretty much an asshole. I mean, in a good way. Okay, he tried not to take crap after my mom, and trust me, there was a lot of it. And then he never took crap from me, from my sister. Uh, See, I always kind of knew that I wanted to settle and to marry, but my sister chose a different path. So she chose to be strong and independent. To some extent, I was kind of infused into these dynamics back in college when everybody else was doing the same thing, like strong, powerful, and independent. And this is where I had a crack in the relationship with my dad, because feminism is very hard to fight. You have to be persistent, and it just drags you in, all in. And if you're not careful with what you do, you can seriously ruin the relationship with your dad. And then if you don't have a good established relationship with your dad, especially if he has some masculinity in him, he doesn't um, fix all of your problems. He leaves you to solve the problems that you've created for yourself. This is accountability that we are talking about for women. So if women are not introduced into this from the very early age, later on she's going to be a slutty feminist, and nobody will be able to hold you accountable. Yes, she might. The problem is that guys sometimes interpret it like, oh, yes, women break rules for alphas and they make rules for betas to an extent. Okay. If she broke a few rules for an alpha dude out there because she desperately wants something from alpha, she will try to subconsciously betatize him over time. Because the moment she gets what she wants from the guy, she thinks that she can manipulate him into doing something that she wants him to do. So it's not just enough to demonstrate to her that you have the frame. You have to sustain it. You have to maintain it. And the question comes down to whether you as a man want to deal with this woman that you have to break like a horse all the time, which can be illegal.
She's
like
green her whole life.
the things that you would have to do to her to break her. Or you choose a more peaceful woman. This is what it comes down to, because yes, even though women break rules for alphas, it's not a guarantee that she will keep breaking them for you guys. And this is something that I think you could elaborate more. It depends on her upbringing. It depends on how she behaves, how she views the relationship, how she views you. Does she prioritize you, or she's the priority still in that relationship? Because yeah, she can say, let's go, let's say this girl's on Access Vegas. I see it. I see also on Fresh and Fit how guys were taking the lead, and then the women would be like, oh yeah, okay, I'll shut up, because they are on the show, and yeah, maybe they are looking for something. I don't believe these girls. You see, I don't believe that they really sacrifice something, that they are breaking the rules in that regard. It has to be done consistently. And it's very hard to tell by the number of girls that get invited to these shows whether they are willing to do that. And even though they like this man, because all women want to be in a relationship with strong, rational, masculine men, but not all of them can maintain that kind of relationship. Yeah, they can attract the strong, rational, masculine men. Men are all visual, right? You dress up nicely, you take care of your body, your appearance is great, fine. Men will fall for you. But what about keeping the man. And this is where the masculine men often choose the feminine women who are more compliant and who keep sacrificing, who keep complying with their frame. Not just like once, she did it once and then you bought into her lie. No, guys, no, you can't do it. You need to keep challenging her. And see, I'm not saying like do it on purpose or anything, just to, like, so that you get the stuff from her, but like watch the dynamics over time. Okay, the time will show you what she really is. And yeah, how do I get a guy who fears I want to have a romantic relationship with him, to whom he doesn't have to fear me? How do I get a guy who fears I want to have a relationship with him? What are you trying to say here?
It sounds like she's asking how, there's a man who is not interested in me romantically, that I am interested in romantically.
In him. Okay. To know he doesn't have to fear me. Do you think he fears you?
It sounds like he may not want a like a committed romantic relationship.
Committed relationship.
And there's a 1,000 reasons why that could be.
Yeah.
Given context, but
it's you have to decide for yourself if you want to settle and be married. Maybe the guy that you are interested in doesn't want that. Maybe he doesn't want to have a serious relationship. Find a guy who wants a serious relationship and settle with him instead. This comes down to, ladies, what are your priorities? If you are chasing the one or let's say 5% of the world's population out there, those guys have options. They they don't need to settle. Okay, Leonardo DiCaprio will probably never settle. He will keep changing the models until the time he dies, maybe, because he has the resources, he has something that women want. And for men, it's actually not a bad thing to do, because it doesn't hit them as hard as for women. Men over time gain value, they gain resources. Women over time lose value. Our SMV, our sexual market value, goes down. This is why time is of the essence. You need to settle, and the sooner you do it, the better for you. Settle for the guy who is not in the top range out there. Settle with the guy who makes decent amount of money to take care of you and your future children. If your goal is to be married, to be taken care of by the guy, and to have children. If you don't want to settle, this is what happens with this top, like to some extent, I would call like Mike Sartian kind of girls. They probably will never settle. Like these girls that want the top guys out there, they will be whores. They will be replaceable girls out there. Okay, so you kind of have to decide for yourself what you want to do. What are your priorities? If you want a family, I'm all good with non-commitment. He just doesn't believe me for some reason. Well, I don't know what to tell you.
What was the previous comment?
The previous comment, oh, we missed it. I want him as okay. I'm so young, I'm 20, almost 21. He thinks our first time will make me want more than friendship.
If you are a female and he is a male and you want to be friends with benefits and he doesn't, then there is probably something that is like, that is, most men aren't going to have an attraction for. So he's either, there's something wrong with him or there's something wrong with you. Or there's just some like outlying circumstance that he just doesn't, maybe he's super convicted in his faith or something, and does not, doesn't want to engage with that, and that's fine by him. But that's not a typical circumstance. So it would, I guess, behoove you to like try to step outside the circumstances, and maybe there's things you are doing that are like super turn off or unattractive, or maybe there's things that he's got going on that are, keeping him from wanting to get involved in that way. But that's an interesting dilemma.
So, Ashton, I have a question for you. You are young. You are in your 20s. I remember myself when I was 20s. I wasn't necessarily thinking about marriage either.
Well, we all know everybody's got a hope phase.
Well, I mean, I was still studying, and I was listening to my mom. I would have married my second boyfriend. I would have done that. And then by now, then I would have kids. See, the problem is I'm older than you, Ashton, and I'm in my 33 now, I think. But anyway, it's getting kind of late to have kids at this point, because it took us 2 years for me and my husband to settle and to marry. When you find the right guy to have relationship with and to have family with, it's still going to take you a while to settle and to marry. And this is something that women don't always think about. And as time goes by, your chances of having kids reduce also. Okay, so I'm just giving you this example so that maybe you can learn from my mistake. Okay, and I'm not saying that like marrying my current husband was a mistake. No, but like as time goes by, if I was 21 or 22 and I met my second boyfriend when I was 22 or 21 years old, if I married him, by now I would have had kids who would be like 10 years old, for example, or maybe like 14, getting into the teenage years. Because that guy, he wanted the family, he wanted the wife, he wanted the children. The problem was I didn't want that. Okay, I wanted to study. I wanted to be somewhat strong and independent. Back in my brain, I realized like, oh, he's a nice guy, I should marry. But I listened to my mom, who told me, no, you first finish your school. And then I finished my school. I was depressed after we separated. I didn't have a lot of boyfriends after that guy, and I think he was an alpha. And I couldn't settle.
Did he spark
for less.
Genuine desire?
Yes, I had sincere desire for him. I really wanted to be his wife, and I just got really lucky that I met my second boyfriend. But then after meeting that guy, I told to myself mentally, next time I meet the guy, I'll marry. I'll marry, and then it's like, I don't care how he looks like. Well, as long as he's not like morbidly obese, or as long as he is reasonably stable and has good health, I'll marry, because I want to settle. I don't want to be alone anymore, because being in a relationship is something that is very beautiful, and you can bring so much to each other. And I was really frustrated that I listened to my mom, because now I'm older, and having kids has its time frame also for women. As I get older, the more I look outside what happens in our society. If back then I was in my 20s, I would probably be still somewhat, naive. And that time was actually a good time for having children. This is why I'm saying, be careful with like playing around, because it will bite back. It will bite back, and you don't know where and how. For example, with me, I may never have kids now, and I know it, and it's a hard realization for me. I know it's like maybe I can still pull it off, but like, look where we are headed. What is happening to our society? What's going to happen to the finances and the market? You are basically going to bring to life the child into recession and depression. And remember, the last one was in the 1930s. It wasn't good timing. It was really bad. This is why timing for women, it matters more than for men. If Leonardo DiCaprio can still play around with his chicks and nobody really cares, with women, it's not the same thing. If your goal is to be the friend with benefits, for how long are you going to do it? When are you going to settle? Are you going to settle at all? Because if you don't think about it now, trust me, when you are 30, it's going to be too late, because you will be competing against everybody who is younger than you are. Yeah, you'll probably have some money, but you will end up being single, like a lot of these older ladies out there who are whining and moaning where the good men are. The good men are out there. The problem is that they didn't choose to be married. They didn't choose to settle. They were thinking, oh, I'm still young, I can still pull it off. You have the looks, yeah, sure, for some time you can extend it, but there comes a limit eventually. This is why I highly encourage you to think about it. Maybe, yeah, right now you don't want to, but like in a year, like set yourself some time frame, because if you don't do it, the older you become, the harder it's going to be for you to find the guy to settle with. The older you become, the harder it's going to be to have kids with, because after 33, 35 years old, the risk of Down syndrome also is going up as well by 1%. But it's still like you might have some complications in your pregnancy when you are older. You see, I had a musician best friend at 18, and he's 33. We dated for years, 11, and I wanted to marry until we just changed. He wanted me to be standing by him and his success, while he didn't do the same for me. Okay, now it comes down to, have you watched the first part of our live stream where we were talking about that movie? See, I had a similar thing with my second boyfriend, when he wanted me just to stay at home and like be a wife, and I wanted to go out and do things. And see, if you marry the right guy, you will get it. You will get what you want. Guys are not evil. You see, guys want you to succeed too, but they want to make sure
in different
that
ways.
Yeah, in different ways, yeah. Like in that movie that I was telling about, he helped her to get the restaurant. She always wanted to be a chef. She didn't get it right away. She had to prove herself to him that she is worthy of his time, of his investment. And then over time, she got what she wanted, and she maintained the family, she maintained the kids. Otherwise, she would be a single mama with 4 children. Who would want to date a single mama with 4 children, or take liability for the 4 children, the way the law is written now? Yeah, you have to prove to your man that you are worthy of his time, and then he can help you to get to where you want. Because if there is no exchange, if you are there for yourself, you have to realize that men, in this case, they kind of have it easier, and time works in their favor. When for women, we have to acknowledge that the time, unfortunately, doesn't work in our favor. Over time, we'll lose our SMV. We'll lose it. If you don't consolidate on it, it's gone. It's gone. And yeah, I understand that you wanted to marry until it just changed. He wanted me to be standing by him. This is what rational masculine men want women to do. They want women to stand by them so that they can take care of the woman later on. It's a process, and it doesn't come fast. it's commitment. You won't be able to get what you want right away. But if you marry the right guy who wants a stable relationship with you, he he will commit to you. He will be taking care of you, and then he will help you to reach your goals. But as you help him grow, because while he's growing, he's taking care of you. He's taking care of the family. He's paying all the bills. You see, and there is so much liability that men are taking when they are marrying. When they are committing to one woman, they are sacrificing. Women only see it from their viewpoint, how much I sacrifice to be with a man. They don't want to see how much a man sacrifices. He could pick any other woman out there. He could keep spinning plates. But instead, if he chooses to commit, all of the spinning plates go away. He commits to one woman, and then he's taking care of her, and then he's taking care of their future children. He wants you to succeed. Men are not evil. Men are pretty nice. If you treat them nicely, you will get nice things from them. Over time, not right away. Yeah. Okay, you want to be a writer, director, actor of your own books in film, TV in the future. Most men don't take me seriously, unfortunately. I have a few male friends, but they don't have any interest in me.
It sounds like the pattern here is that you're very driven and you're very ambitious, and while those can be good things and they'll get you certain things in life, you need to understand that those things aren't interesting, or like they can be interesting, but those are not attraction cues for men. Those are not going to make men more interested in you typically. Um, like you just said, I have a few male friends, but they don't have any interest in me, and then that's because the things that you are describing are attributes of like uh, a hardworking, like aggressive, a person who wants to succeed and do things, and that's cool, but you just have to understand that that comes at a cost. All of the time and energy that you spend getting better at doing those things will make you better at those things, but those things aren't valued the same way to a man as society might teach, and that you might think. Um, so it just kind of comes down to your personal choices. What do you want more than your writing, director, actor thing? If you want men to take you seriously in terms of relationships, then you understand that the men are going to do the working hard part and the gaining resources part, and they're going to take care of that, assuming they're the right guy. And they want a woman who's going to make that easier for them, or they want a woman who's going to complement them in their goals and make it so that, like, oh, I can go slave 10-12 hours a day or whatever. I can go slay dragons, and I can come home to a woman who is going to, like, not make me slay more, or not bring more stress into my life,
Mm-hmm.
and that kind of thing. Those are skills. Those are values that make a man's life better, measurably. So yeah, it this is what society teaches, and so it's like not surprising that this is what a lot of women go for. But those are probably some of the reasons behind why that might be difficult, and it's difficult to unlearn things
Mm-hmm.
sometimes. But just being aware is the first step, possibly.
Yeah. If you are pursuing the career and doing what society tells you to do, unfortunately, even if you do all the right things as you believe the society was telling you, pursue your career, become strong and independent, you can't rely on men because all men are cheaters and they uh, are not trustworthy, you will end up being single. Watch the result that the other women have gotten and learn from their mistakes. Learn from them. Don't do the same thing that they did that has led them to have that same outcome. Look, if I could revert the time, it's like I really want to have kids. I just think that now it's not a good timing. And if I wanted to have a proper family, I wish I could have married my second boyfriend back then when I was still young and 21 years old. I wish. I got lucky. I met a decent guy now that I'm married to. He has a very strong masculine frame. I do love him. I have sincere desire for him, and I'm just lucky. Only a few women get that lucky that they like meet a few strong masculine men in a row. You see, relying that you will get lucky one day to meet the guy that will treat you well, that you will meet the masculine guy, it's a very small chance. And the older you become, the harder it's going to be. Because those guys, as they age, they gain value, they have more options, they have better options out there. There are younger women who are more compliant. You are now 21. Okay, you're still young. You can still adjust what you're doing, right? But as Sam said, as you become better at videography and movie and everything, you will be better at that. But you won't be better at other things that men find attractive. The high quality, high value men, let's call them, right? That they are interested in. They're not interested in your money. They're not interested in you as a director or actor who works in the film industry. They want a wife. They want somebody that is maybe submissive to some extent, but that brings some value to the table. They don't want a strong, powerful, independent woman who behaves like a man. In other words, they don't want to marry another man. They want to marry a woman. Yeah. Let's see. The guy who fears me told me I had no excuse not to have a family alone with career because his sister has those strong values and does well maintaining both. My question would be, for how long? For how long? Yes, in our society today, women are sold to this idea that you can do both. You can have a cake and eat it too. The problem. Okay,
This
Sam,
guy
go.
sounds this guy sounds a little odd. I'm not gonna lie. If I'm interpreting these comments correctly, he told you that you had no excuse not to have a family along with a career. First of all, it's odd that a guy would tell a woman that. And second of all, that like he would use his sister as a justification. It's like if you want to try juggling that, that's probably a crazy goal, crazy commitment, and it's so totally doable. And it's not that women can't have careers, but it's odd that like it sounds like he had an expectation that he wanted to have a family and a career, and that like that you weren't, I guess, you weren't willing to live up to that. I don't know.
And some men, sorry, Sam. Yeah, you brought up a very interesting point here. I would be actually suspicious of this man because he tells me that, oh, I need to be a mother. I need to be a business woman. I need to take care of the household and everything else on top of that. Like, who am I, a machine or what? Why do you want the relationship with this guy who sets such high expectations from you? I mean, like, if he wants you to be a career woman, he basically tells you that you can't rely on him for financial support because you have to maintain your own finances.
Yeah, it's a bit of a red flag.
It is a red flag. Yeah, thank you, Sam, for bringing it up. Yeah. I'm always suspicious with guys who tell me, oh, you can do both. No, not really. Well, the fact that my husband is okay with me teaching fitness and running this YouTube show and doing some other fun stuff on social media, I do it for fun, you know. But like as a career, if a man was relying on my resources for finances, why would a man tell this to a woman, especially if he thinks of having serious relationship with her? It would only mean that he wants her to be independent from him so that he doesn't take care of her. You know what I mean? Or accountingship here. I was thinking the same thing. Sounds more like he wants a family and doesn't want to get trapped in a relationship with a career woman, just giving an old guy's perspective. It's possible. It's possible. Yeah. But when a man says to a woman that it depends. It's so like without talking to your boyfriend or whoever friend, it's hard to tell because we would have to run the series of questions to him, series of questions to you to come up with a proper answer for you. We are kind of dealing here with the bits of information from one side. Yeah, it's hard to draw a full picture of what is going on. Yeah, a lot of men don't want to deal with a career women today. Yeah, but the only men who would want to deal with the career women are the simps or the ones who don't want a woman to rely on them. So not very reliable men, I would say. Is he an older guy too, Ashton? How old is he? Yeah. Sam, what's your take on when a man says to a woman, oh, he's 42? Oh my gosh, girl. Oh my gosh. This
I don't
does,
think there's anything particularly like wrong with that
yeah,
situation, but there's weird stuff going on.
it's definitely, yeah, 42 years old. Does he have children? Or
Does he
he
have
has,
success? Does he have resources? Does he have like
yeah,
what has he accomplished by the age of 42?
yeah.
Because if the answer is not much and he's like needs you to kind of be, you
The
know,
provider and everything.
providing some stuff too, that's like, okay, don't even bother
Don't
engaging in
bother
that.
with him, girl. Yeah, tell us more about him. Do you want to call in, maybe, Ashley? Ashton, sorry. Use the link up here, the first link that I shared with you. I'll try to repost it so that we can listen to it. I think it will be faster. Hold on. Just call in. Yeah.
Elena only nibbles a little bit. She doesn't bite.
Yeah, I. Thank you, Sam.
Of course.
Wow. Yeah, 42, this age gap. I mean, yeah, no children. He's a California lawyer. Oh, lawyers. You can't lie to the lawyers. Oh my gosh, girl. I don't know what to tell you. So if he, by the age of 42, he hasn't been married, how my mom would put it, okay? How my mom would say it. If by the age of 42, he hasn't been married and he hasn't had children, there is something wrong with him, okay?
I'll politely disagree with that.
Well, I know, but like yeah. Why doesn't he look for somebody who is older than you are? Okay,
Why
boy,
should
I'm
he?
close to that age. I know. Shit. Yeah, this is what my mom would say. I don't
What would you say, Elena? You're not your mother.
I know. 42, a lawyer. Lawyers are very hard to deal with because they know the law, they know everything. You can't get away with pretty much anything. And like my question would be, why hasn't he found anybody to settle like by that
Careful,
time?
careful that you don't make any assumptions
Well,
in your
I'm
question.
trying not to, but at the same time, I don't do calls. Okay, with my parents. I would love to someday for sure. Okay, we would love to have you back, Ashton. Yeah, I would just, there are so many younger guys out there. Like with 42 older men, they are very hard to deal with mentally. For a younger woman, it depends on your priorities. Okay, I'll just give you like a woman advice here. Okay, Sam, you might disagree with me. Oh yes, guys, throw some tomatoes at me later on. Well, from a female viewpoint, okay, it looks like you are an attractive woman, 21-year-old. What are you doing with this older dude? There are so many younger guys out there who would want to settle, who would want to take care of you, but you would have to sacrifice your interests to get what you want with them. Maybe you don't want that. Maybe in that case, then yeah, this lawyer who is telling you, yeah, become strong and independent because he already knows where you are headed and he doesn't want to um, impose his rules on you because you probably won't listen to him anyway. Don't know what Elena thinks of all the single guys. It's not that, like I'm not saying it all about the single guys. It's a
So let's take this down this little path here, because why do you, Elena, presuppose that, like, when you specifically asked her, why do you like, why not look for younger guys?
oh why not?
I'm asking you why that's a presupposition
Well, I'm saying
that younger guys are better.
look for younger guys because 42 years old. Look, okay, let's say she marries this guy, they are happy together. He will die soon. It's almost like okay, she pops up a few kids with him. It's from practical pragmatic standpoint, Sam. A woman marries an older dude, 42 years old. He's going to die sooner than she is, and then she will have to take care of the children. Okay,
Take care of
and
the children. 18 years after 42 is not that old.
well, okay, so they live together. Or another tricky thing is here, and I've seen it happen. I was in Germany. There was one girl. She was married to an older guy. She was from Russia, and then one of the conditions was that she would marry the guy, she pop up the baby, and then he would provide for her for the rest of her life. So, but he was much older than her. So what she did, she would ditch him with the baby and she would go party because she was still young. She wanted to party, so this actually, the advice I'm giving her is pretty rational. I mean, yeah, it might sound like, okay, you're against the older guys. I'm not against the older guys. Like you just have to be within your range kind of and see, like, okay, maybe if he's a few years older, maybe if he's like 8 years older, okay, fine, it's not a very big difference. But when it's like 20 years apart, you have to think about it from the critical standpoint and see the possible outcomes. First of all, she might start cheating on him, and because he's a lawyer, he already knows it. Because she's younger, she is hotter, she will have no trouble finding boyfriends. This is probably why, my dear Ashton, he's not that interested in having a serious relationship with you, or he doesn't take you seriously, because you are still in your 20s, you want to pursue your career, you want to be strong and independent woman. And he's not interested in that just for your sake too, because he knows what can come. The moment he puts a ring on your finger, you may not be interested in him as a man anymore, and you will want somebody younger. So why not to find somebody younger to begin with, somebody that you can have a serious committed relationship with. And if your goal, again, it comes down to your goals and what are you willing to sacrifice to get to your goals. If your goal is to marry and to settle, you will sacrifice your career to do that. And eventually, maybe at some point, I'm not saying that, oh, that's a cross, the family is a cross. No, you can still do certain things. You probably won't do them full time. If your goal is to be a career, strong, powerful, independent woman, then yeah, you go pursue that, but then you will end up being single. These are pretty much the options that women have because of the time frame. Okay, she tried debating him, but he always wins. Well, he's a lawyer. What do you expect?
Don't debate your significant other.
Yeah. Don't fight with lawyers. It's oh gosh, it's not worth it. He says he loved women in the past, but then suddenly he lost interest in them unintentionally. If he's in the black pill, I see a lot of older guys there, they don't waste your time, girl. Don't waste your time on him. All I'm saying is because you are spending the best years of your life now. It's your peak age, like 22, 23, depending on like how old. Settle with a decent guy instead. Refocus your energy on somebody who will be more interested in the relationship, because a lot of guys, they get fed up with women by the age they hit like 40. This is one of the reasons why women say that if a man hasn't married by the age of 42, or if he hasn't had a committed relationship with a woman, they probably won't. They're just playing around, and it's okay for them to do that. They're spinning plates. It's fine. I have nothing against that. But I wouldn't want to waste my time, and I wouldn't recommend to women to waste their time on pursuing this kind of men, because there are so many other men out there who want a relationship, who want to settle. You see the problem here? Maybe he almost married someone a long time ago, got completely heartbroken. It's possible. It's possible. And gave up on the whole thing. This is what I'm saying. Like the guys who get into the black pill, it's like they have a reason behind that. It's not like women are helping. It's not like women are behaving in a decent way. Maybe somebody did break his heart. Okay. But the problem there is whether the man can overcome this heartbrokenness or not. It's up to him. And if he hasn't yet, girl, it's not your job to fix his problem. Find a guy who, there are some guys who have overcome that.
Find a man who loves women.
Yeah. And if he just loves them, it depends. It depends whether his frame works for you or not. Each man, by the time they mature, usually they have established rules, and it's up to you whether you accept those rules that he is imposing on you or not. If you don't accept them, then you find somebody who has different set of rules and you play by the other dude's rules. Okay? My parents are in their 60s, and I was into their films and music that they grew up with, into older men because of that. I understand. Yeah. Yeah. Well, it sounds like you are a decent girl. You just grew up with the old, and back then, yeah, it's interesting that you bring up the older movies, because their marriages were prearranged, and the idea was that parents were helping children to settle, and they were choosing. What do your parents say about this guy? Do they know about this guy that you are interested in? Yeah, have you talked to your dad about this man who is approximately the same age as your dad? What would he say? Talk to your dad and find out what he tells you. Okay, what is Sheep saying? Elena, stop trying to talk girls out of being interested in older guys. Well, yes. Okay, Sheep is a nice guy. How old are you, Sheep? It's tough enough for us already. I know.
But she just doesn't care. Brutality.
Yeah. How old are you, Sheep? You say that you're approximately the same age as. Like, my advice for you, Sheep, would be find an older woman. In your.
Oh,
No.
don't go that way now, Elena.
Don't go that
Oh,
way.
no.
Okay, Sam, you tell him what to do. I don't know.
Find
I'm
an
just.
older woman. Well, okay, so there's gonna be a like I am not as old as you, very likely, and but I have heard from older men that, like, yes, there's going to be a cost to, like, being in the dating marketplace with girls that are not in your generation, girls that are not having the same life experiences as you. That can be a good and a bad thing in a lot of different ways. But I think you should date any woman that comes into your life that makes your life better. I don't particularly think it matters if she's, obviously there's like a legal age, and there's going to be like different scales and girls with different things that are going to make your life better in different ways. So, I would say spin plates with girls who make your life better. And if they're not making your life better, then don't waste your time in entertaining it. But I would never say specifically to date older women. Like, you may end up with the result that, oh, the older women are capable of doing this and are more mature and do these things differently, and that's good for me. That might be a result, but I wouldn't come out of the gate and say specifically to do that. That's
Go
the
date
only
older
difference.
women. Yeah. It again, if you find a younger woman, there are some younger women who, like, look, Ashton, she's interested in this older guy. You could end up being together. I mean, if a woman really loves you, like, for your age, for your wisdom, for your maturity, then sure, why not? Usually when women are younger, they know that they think that they can do better. They think that they can find a guy who will be, I need one young enough to provide me with children for tax purposes. Oh, Jesus. Well, then, yes, in your case, okay, let me rephrase that. If the idea is to have I don't want to use the word partnership, but a companionship, okay? If the idea is for an older man, for example, right, who already had children, and let's say he is divorced, and now he wants to have a life with somebody who understands him. If the idea is to have a companionship, then yeah, maybe you find an older woman, if you don't want to have kids. But if your goal is, as a man, to have children, then yeah, sure, you find the woman who is capable of producing babies. But then you have to watch out, because remember that scenario that I brought up to you, when the girl, she did pop up a kiddo, but then she was literally like sleeping around and having a lot of fun on the side. That you have to be careful, guys, and the law is not written in your favor. So even if you happen to have this woman who gives you babies, um, what's what's coming next? What's coming next? She might start cheating on you. She might not. Okay, I'm just speculating here. I'm telling you based on what I've seen in that case that happened. She was partying. Her husband was never there because he was with the kids, you know. And then if he finds out that she cheated on him, he can't even he's still legally liable for her, you know, for the child support. And the court, she will fight. If she finds out that you are interested in the kid more than her, she will fight you hard in court, and chances are she will win because of the legal system, how it's structured.
You ought to be aware if you're going to, if you want children, that, like, if you make them, you're going to be responsible for them, which is a good thing. That's how the world works. However, there is a possibility that if you select the wrong woman, that you are going to be responsible for them, but you are going to have no authority in terms of directing their lives if it goes poorly, which is a possibility and a statistical probability that that is going to happen. So, that should color your perspective on like who you might select and what you might do. And if you've just got like tons and tons of extra money and everything, then maybe it just doesn't matter to you. But yeah, I mean, life will teach its lessons.
Yeah, I understand why older men want younger women. There is nothing wrong in that. You just have to be careful. You have to consider that also the physiological aspect of it. Will she be attracted to you later on as a man? If that's the case, then yeah, sure, go for it. But in many cases, women are women, you know? If she knows that there are no restrictions, there are no rules, definitely do a prenuptial. Ship. Do a prenuptial agreement just to make sure that she doesn't get as much. But even then, it's not always the case. You should watch the episode that Rollo Tomasi did with what was the name of the lawyer? He actually invited the lawyer to talk about these topics, and I refer you to him because they did a very profound deep dive interview, and the lawyer was telling he was talking about the cases that usually people fight over in the divorce court. And I think that would be interesting to help you like get some idea and some picture. Women and men better together than they are apart. Yeah, sure, but we need to find a way and also be more rational, applying critical thinking. And yeah, I think. See, there are two guys. Ashton says the lawyer as one of them. Who are my best male friends. I trust them and we would be friends and be sexual whenever. But I'm very careful and considerate of consequences. And then she says, the lawyer doesn't think I do because of my youth. Well, maybe your youth is not the only thing that he is looking at. He's looking at your actions, Ashton.
If he's wise.
Yeah. And I'm a virgin, which is another factor of his distrust. Yeah, but then how do you do the sexual sex whenever? You're kind of contradicting yourself here.
She said sexual. She didn't say have sex.
Ah, okay. Be friends and be sexual whenever. Okay. Be careful with that. Mm-hmm. I'm in Washington State. Yes. So you know where I am from. Nice. Yeah, I'm from the Washington. We are from the Washington State too with Sam.
We're all here.
We're here. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, prenuptials for sure. One of my top to do for sure. Huge fan of Rollo and James Sexton. Oh, you watched that episode? Yes, James Sexton. Thank you for bringing it up. Yeah,
She's already on it.
you know, girl. You know, like, what are you doing here?
Yeah. What are you wasting time here for?
Yeah. Good. Good for you. Yeah. Rollo has very good content. I really appreciate his work, and I always refer you guys to check him out and read his books. Yeah, with like women have to be careful. We have to think about so many things, and especially when the priorities are to marry, have children, they don't really go well with the other things that our society tells us to do, like go get become popular and be strong and independent. Yeah, he doesn't want to break your heart. A virgin looking for friends with benefits. Of course, he's terrified of you getting hurt. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Especially if the man is an alpha man, they know that the virgins especially have hard time breaking up. Let's say that if you already were not a virgin and you had you dated like maybe not like many but low body count, okay, maybe a couple of guys, then maybe it would be easier for you if somebody dumped you just mentally, okay. But why men avoid virgins is a good question, and it comes down to the attachment that the virgins have for this man, especially if they meet an alpha man right away and the first man is this wise, strong, masculine man out there. The alpha men are addictive. You know that the imprint that they have on women, it's huge. It can change the woman's perception, perspective on life, and everything. Of course, men are fearful of dating virgins, especially should it be the case in ideal world? Well, of course not, but it is what it is. Yeah, he might be scared that you are a virgin and he doesn't want to deal with the stalk syndrome that virgins might have later on when they're being dumped by this strong rational masculine man. Yeah.
I think there's not a like terrible, not, I wouldn't say solution to that situation, but it's like the whole dumped thing is like, okay, dumped implies first of all that you engaged in a monogamous relationship, or like you know agreed to like be exclusive or something like that. And ultimately, if this guy is the kind of guy that like is being everything that you would like him to be, and you are being what he would like you to be, and you both agree on like the same things, then like if you make his life better and he's making your life better, what's the, you know, assuming there's not like deceit and lies and bad stuff going on, like it's not the cheating, it's the lying. So, you know, if you're I don't know. Maybe I think it sounds like I have a little bit different of a perspective. But
well, tell us what perspective you have.
well, it's if you guys come to an agreement on how you are going to do things, and it doesn't always have to be like necessarily spoken out loud in a conversation, like, and probably it's usually best if it's not, because a lot of like subconscious behavior and things that show up, assuming you both can read the situation, are going to be much more likely genuine desire. And if if you keep hanging out and first of all, if we're still talking about the same guy, he's a California lawyer and you're in Washington State, and then it's long distance already, which is already like, why? So it's like, the reason I say why is because like there's usually not a fair balance in like what you're both getting out of the relationship, because for the most part, some basics are going to be that men are going to want sex and women are going to want attention. Those are sort of the currencies that that relationships are going to be like initially based on. And if he's, I don't know how much attention he's giving you in terms of like phone calls or texts or whatever, but I mean, if you're not together, then sure, the internet, you can do plenty of things, but if you're not like physically together, then it's not going to be like at the same level.
Yeah.
There's just so many factors. So the whole premise of virginity being a risk to a guy who has, let's say, this high value guy who has all these resources and potential, and he's attractive and all of these things. I got distracted because I saw this comment. Hold on. He's scared to hurt me. He doesn't cheat and is respectful, but he can't commit. He can't get married. I'm hoping to go down to LA for career purposes, and he did say I could move in to help out. To help out.
Well, so that she could probably stay at his place so that he could help her.
Oh, for him to help. Okay.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, I mean, okay. Red flags for different reasons.
Yeah.
If he's telling you that he's scared to hurt you, that's weird language to use. You can say like he doesn't want to hurt you, or he doesn't want to, like, you just got to ask yourself why, right? So why would he say he's scared to hurt you? First of all, the fact that he's saying he's scared about something is just weird. Like, that's not.
Well, maybe she thinks
language.
that he's scared to hurt her.
It could be. Yeah, it's true. It could be just an interpretation. So if he's not literally saying that, but that's how it's coming off, then it's interesting that he can't commit and can't get married. Yeah. I don't know if that's a legal requirement or if he just is choosing not to. If he's choosing not to, then it's won't, right? Which is different. And if you were to go down to where he is, like there's a little joke, the fastest way to cause a breakup, move in together, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't sound like his head is on straight and he's got his own mental point of origin figured out.
Well, and this is what she says. She did ask him, and he says that it's insecurity.
Oh, well, yeah. You're probably getting yourself into a bag of problems if you pursue this guy.
See, I told you that up front without even knowing what, like, oh gosh. You can tell.
And it's not because of his age.
I know it's not. And this is something that, ladies, you need to consider. The age, yeah, it's an important factor, but it's not the only thing. You need to look how long it took us to come down to undo like all of these layers to get to the point, okay, what's really going on there. It takes a long time to figure it out.
Yeah. There's two red flags there. The first one is that he has insecurities. The second one is that he's telling you he has insecurities. Those are two bad moves.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, if you're 42 and you still haven't figured your life out and know what you want and are decisive and can solve problems and like can take on the world, and if you've got insecurities about like being in relationships with women, then you haven't figured women out, and you don't understand female nature. And what makes you think that you're going to have any better chance of doing that in a relationship with true California? Like, unless you don't like having your money, then it's a great place to live.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I would say those are some red flags there that are not likely to end well. It's not that good things can't happen, but
Yeah, just be careful. Be careful with this guy. It's not to say that you can't talk to him. You still can. Maybe he can give you some legal advice, and you can be friends. But the moment you go there, there are a lot of risks associated with it. You see, if you have sex, let's say, with this guy, and then you become attached to him, or something goes wrong in there, and he already tells you that he is not going to commit, he doesn't want to marry. So if you believe that, by me going there, you will convince him somehow to change his view. Look, if he hasn't changed his view, this is coming back to what Sam was recently saying. If he hasn't figured out what he wants in life by the age of 42 years old, chances are that dating you or sleeping with you is not going to change that. Okay, I'm just bringing it up to you because I know that you are thinking about it as a woman. You go to his place, 100%, like, okay, 99% chance you will sleep with him because you will be on his territory, and you know what happens.
You made it that far.
You may, yeah, might as well, yeah. Just think about the possible consequences, the possible outcomes for yourself. And this is why I was telling you, maybe find a younger guy. It's not to say that the older guys are bad. Shit, I don't want to hurt you, okay? That the older guys are like, no. It's just based on the circumstances that she is in right now. I don't think it's the best decision for her. You have to be careful whom you give your virginity to. If the sex isn't really intercourse and it's just touchy-feely, can it be just as effective in terms of men's mindset?
So the whole thing about like, okay, not actually having sex is, if this guy, frankly, if this guy's worth hanging out with, then you are probably not the only 20 to 21-year-old, if that age is correct, that is interested in him. Unless he's a super social recluse and doesn't go out, doesn't do anything. Like, how did you meet him? You got to think about the fact that there are other women in this world.
Mm-hmm.
And if he can, like, it's like if there are women that are going to hang out with him and say, well, yeah, we can do all this stuff, but then, and there are other women that he can hang out with that are going to just like, they just want to do everything to make his life as good as they possibly can, then why would he be incentivized to spend time with you? And it's harsh, but it's like, these are the subconscious background, machinations that are operating that might direct him to make certain decisions. So yeah, so it's I would say, if you like, and this is hard because you can't you're not supposed to like know beforehand, oh, I'm going to have sex with this guy. That's not something that's not supposed to be like, it might be on your mind. If he's just that attractive and that's on your mind, then okay, great. Then he's already checked the box of genuine desire. That's been figured out. That's a good prerequisite to have before engaging in any relationship. But if and it's like, it's not necessarily a bad thing that you're thinking that like, yeah, I'm not going to have sex with him, because like you can think that, but recognize that I am subject to my emotional decision making sometimes, and if I put myself in a position where I'm going to subject myself to extreme emotional circumstances, and things are going to be I'm going to be in a mindset that I couldn't possibly imagine myself being in. And prepare yourself for the reality that you might make the decision to do that.
Okay, she met him during the show.
Okay, so let's presume that this guy has options. And if he does and he's bringing good things in your life, then you ought to want to bring good things into his life, and there should be no restrictions on that. That's all I would say. I mean, again, and if there are, then like, okay, then be prepared for the fact that he might just not want more, or that it's not going to end well. And that, and if it's predictably not going to end well, then just don't bother.
Don't bother. Yeah, there are a lot of risks associated with this guy. Just be ready and see if even if you, let's say, sleep with him, you go there, just as Sam said, be ready to be dumped by him, because if he has options and you are not the only young girl, which I presume in California, it's possible that he's hanging out with younger women out there, and this is something that you should be questioning. Even if you sleep with him, do you want to be the girl who sleeps with him, who gives your virginity to him, when you already know that he's not going to commit and he's not going to take care of you? I mean, okay, let's see what she
I don't know if like commit's the right word to use.
Not commit, but he told her that he's not going to, like, he doesn't want anything serious. Again, coming down to that question, do you want to sleep with a guy who doesn't want to have a serious relationship with you just for the sake of sleeping? Or would you prefer to sleep with a guy who actually wants a relationship with you? Which one?
The funny thing is that like we can also talk about this all day long, and it can be like we could theoretically decide amongst all of our comments and everything that like, what, this is a bad idea, and then she might just go do it anyway, because this is like,
it's
you can only talk about this so much.
You are the one who will have to decide. We can tell you like, these are the red flags. I wouldn't personally do it if I were you, but again, I'm not you. You might have your own interest in this guy, and you might think that there is something else that you can get from this kind of relationship with him. In the end, you're the one who has to do the final say and decide for yourself what you will do. Okay, and whatever you do, look, it has consequences. Okay, all of the choices have consequences. Yeah, let's see what Ship is saying here. You look for a relationship with someone who actually loves you instead, but it's crazy thoughts like that keep me single. See, Sam?
possibly correct. I don't know your situation in your life, but that is an
Yeah,
interesting position
but
to
the
have.
funny thing is that you are younger and you have these thoughts, and Ship is in his 40s. So how old are you, Ship? I'm not saying Ship is old. Like, no, he's a decent guy out there, ladies. If you are interested in accounting Ship, he's obviously good with numbers.
He's good
Yeah,
with numbers. He believes in love, and he's a nice guy. Those are
he's a
good
nice
qualities.
guy. Yeah, he has been following and supporting my content for a very long time. And thank you, Ship. We highly appreciate you here.
But if he doesn't turn you on, don't waste your time. I'm not going to pretend that that's not important.
Yeah, I know. Okay, don't use sex to get a relationship. That's a good advice from an older man here. Look, other way around, my young friend, and I'm saying that as a guy. You
I want to make
see?
sure. I want to make sure I understand.
Well, the idea
Don't
is
use
that
sex to get a relationship.
um, like with the older, that I think it applies to this guy who already told her that he doesn't want to commit. Like, why would women want to sleep with a man who doesn't want to commit?
Oh, so I guess so. I'm not saying that like if I'm going to engage in a relationship with a woman,
Mm-hmm.
I want to know that she wants to bang the snot out of me. That doesn't mean that I have to, but I'm not going to engage in a relationship with somebody who doesn't desire to be with me on that level. So it's about the desire part. It's not necessarily
Yeah.
about actually like just banging a bunch of people and getting around and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I do not think that the foundation of relationships being the commitment, comfy, cozy, supportive, like emotional safety background net, all of that stuff happening first, I do not think that's a good foundation for a relationship. I think they're good things,
Mm-hmm.
but that kind of comes from the perspective of like being friends first or things like that, where it's like, okay, if you are not
Mm-hmm.
her boyfriend, you're her girlfriend.
Well, and then she said, "I agree with you. I agree with you. Sex is important in their relationship. It's something that glues the relationship together." And then she says, "I want to sleep with a friend who I can trust." That makes sense.
That's good. You should not sleep
Yeah.
around with people who you at the very least could not trust.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I trust him and he does trust me, and we are so great as friends because of that trust. I respect him as he respects me. I know he doesn't want anything serious, and I do respect that. Well, if you approach it from this standpoint, go do it. I mean, at least you will know the guy that you slept with, and if you just be ready that uh, he he won't commit to you, and if you are okay with that, then go lose your virginity with this guy. It's much better than finding some random dude in the nightclub. I can tell you that. You see, it's not perfect. We don't live in an ideal world, right? But I think that you're pretty wise for your age. Like, you look at it from very pragmatic kind of yeah.
But let's also remember that trust and respect are not like trust and respect don't give you the tingles. Like those are good things. And that can make you great friends. And those are good like foundational things to have, like if you're going to pick somebody. But at the end of the day, you can like you are still just understanding that you are still like open to the possibility that you might just want to bang a guy because he's hot. Like that's
Mhm.
it's not something to live by, but just understanding that the decision you make in the moment might be that one. So like the trust and the respect thing, those are good things because that means that if that does happen, then he's probably not going to like shoot you or do
Yeah.
crazy things. Like, That's a good. It's better.
It's better, yeah.
But
I would love to see more women looking at it from this standpoint rather than, oh, I'll just go ban some random dude out there, like without thinking about the possible outcomes and like what's next after, okay, you ban this guy, then what's going to happen? You see, at least good call, Ashton. I'm glad to have you here. Maybe one day you'll call in and then we'll have a fun conversation. Yeah. Okay. Ship is blushing there. Same terrible wingman. Yes.
terrible wingman. Oh, I'm a terrible wingman. I'd like to think I'm a great
I think
wingman
he's joking.
when I need to be so.
I don't seek a relationship for the time being. I understand you're kind of still young, and well, the fact that you're thinking about it, just don't make this how do I put it, like adventure with this guy your lifestyle. Okay, like if you choose to lose virginity and then you date somebody younger who might want to be in a serious relationship later on, because it can be addictive too. It's hard to say no to those things when like guys are throwing themselves at you and you have to be selective with whom you sleep with. uh, don't overdo it like other women do. Okay, this is all I'm saying, because a high body count for women, it's not the same as for men. If men can mentally and physically handle it, biologically they are programmed to inseminate as many women as they possibly can. But with monogamy, they are committed, and there are benefits in the long term for our society, for the well-being and stability of our society, to be in a monogamous relationship with each other. It doesn't have the same effect on men sleeping around as it has on women. That's what you need to keep in mind. And then Sam shared an interesting post the other day. If you don't follow Sam on Instagram, guys, go follow Sam. And also me, we do share and promote each other's content. Among other things, we share some interesting articles with you. Sam shared a post, I think it was a few weeks ago, that how many DNAs does a woman get from sleeping around?
Oh, jeez.
And if she sleeps around with a lot of guys, it's like all of those DNAs comprised are floating in your body. They can seriously damage you, ladies. And this is something that you need to be mindful of. And I'm glad to see that Ashton is considering carefully whom she's going to sleep with. It's hard to be like a virgin 100% nowadays, because it looks like men don't really even want virgins, but it depends again on what the mating strategy and what men are looking for in a relationship. If men want to marry and have children, virgins would be ideal for them, right? Because they will know that the baby that would come out of that womb will be his biological child. But if it's for dating, men usually try to avoid virgins because of the stock syndrome, because of the other complications that those virgins can go through later on. You see, so we've completely evolved from virgins being praised to like high body count being celebrated in women. And nowadays, if a woman has low body count, for a lot of men, it's okay, right? Sam, correct me if I'm messing it up. Like, would you consider a virgin woman to be having a serious relationship with?
I don't think that. I think there's a lot more factors than just like body count and virginity like matter. and I can only give my perspective on this because we can talk about it all day long and
Sure,
speculate
sure.
all day
Yeah,
long.
just give
But
me your perspective. Yeah, yeah. Tell me what you think.
there are other things that are more important than past number of sexual partners, because like the end results are the things that are important. For example, now, and it's correlated to past number of sexual partners, but the actual number is not important. Because of, let's say, the principle of the alpha widow, right? So if you meet a guy who's just like this crazy hot dude, and you just have this great foam cannon party in Cancun, right? And you have this great sexual experience, and he's just like the coolest guy, and you're on this vacation, then you like leave and go back to your normal life. I'm like, this guy is now going to imprint on you that experience. And if no guy that you meet in the future can get at that level, then he's always going to be like, not necessarily the guy that you're thinking about while you're having sex with other people, but he's going to be like, oh, well, it wasn't quite like that guy, or it's always going to be there, right? So the more, statistically speaking, the more guys you have sex with, the higher the probability is that you are going to meet one who is better than all the future ones you could meet.
Yeah.
So higher body count makes it just statistically more likely that you're going to have a hard time, that you are going to meet one of your alpha widows, and you're not going to know it until it's like already happened. But that is a result of the higher body count being a problem. So like the thing that is important is genuine desire. So if I am like, that's like literally one of the base things that just like, if that's there, then cool, we can move forward. If it's not there, we can't move forward. So if you've slept with, let's say, 30 guys, and you meet me, and I am, of course, I'm me, right? So I'm gonna be up there. But no, just kidding. So if I am this like new level of high value man, or a new theoretical alpha widow, whatever, and you're, and like, and I'm better than all of the other ones combined in all of the values that you have, then it's not going to matter that you had 30 people. So, the higher value, the higher status, all of those things that I am, the less that matters. But at the same time, if like if you've slept with less people, and I'm like less high value, but I'm still a good guy, and I'm still going to be like a good match and all these things, then there's like, then I can still I can still inspire genuine desire, even though I'm at a lesser level. The important part is the genuine desire. So, if you're trying to increase the odds of your success in the long-term relationship that you engage in, however you would like to define that, then sleeping with less people is a good idea. Being more careful with who you sleep with is a good idea. Because the ultimate problem with the lack of genuine desire is that at some point in the future, that's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
And then it will dissolve because that was not there. So, like, would I avoid a virgin because she's a virgin and she might be like too attached or whatever? Like, no. Would I avoid a girl who's slept with 200 people just because she's slept with 200 people? No. There's a lot more factors than that.
Yeah.
And like, there's going to be a lot of other things that shape your personality and shape your choices that are going to be communicated to me about you, that are going to tell me if that's something I want to engage in or not. And it will tell me if I want to engage in it for long term or not. So yeah, I mean, it's all part of the same equation. So like, ultimately, moving more towards virginity is a good thing. Moving away from virginity is likely to be a bad thing. It's like, you want to play it safe.
It has to be balanced. Yeah. Statistically, if you are sleeping around, you will encounter a couple of alphas in there, and then for each guy that you meet, it's going to be much harder for them to outperform those alpha men that you've met. And women can't let go of the alpha effect. This is why I'm a little concerned about this lawyer guy with you, Ashton, that he might have that kind of effect on you. So it's a good thing that you are young. You still have time to meet the second guy, even if it doesn't work out with this guy, because he already told you that he won't commit to you. And it's like, yeah, he can help you with losing your virginity. But then the imprint that he will have on you, you won't go for less, which is not necessarily a bad thing, especially when you are careful and selective with the guys that you choose to date, because you still have time. It kind of reminds me of my case, how it happened to me too. Like, if you are selective, you might be lucky to meet the second guy, like this lawyer, let's say, that you would have sincere desire for, and the guy who would commit to you and have a relationship with you, you see. But yeah, the alpha imprint, it's huge on women. And yeah, if he treats you nicely and you'll get used to it, you will demand that kind of treatment from other men. It's just statistically going to be harder for you later to meet those guys, because there are just like not that many of them. You know what I mean? Yeah, just don't like, yeah, if you meet with this guy, okay, let's say like sex goes great and everything turns out perfect, then when you break apart, you might be depressed, you might feel sad for a while you're doing other things like working on yourself, improving yourself. But then it can drag you into the strong, independent, powerful woman, or you can still kind of stay on track and finding the replacement for that guy that had a huge imprint on you. You know what I mean, Sam? From like female standpoint, I'm trying to describe to her the process that I kind of went through until I found my second, like it's like my husband. You see, I kind of see the similarity in there, because yeah, the guy, let's say this lawyer, he's a perfect, great man that she's respecting and she has sincere desire for. He like, they will break apart, and then the post effect of that, you know, this is something that we are warning you about here, okay, so that you are ready for it. And then, yeah, focus on the things that you are doing instead of sleeping around. But then, as you don't lock yourself up just in the career, try to find also the guy who will want to commit and you can have family with, because if you go down the strong, independent woman path, you will end up being single and you will have that alpha imprint on you. But if you try to pursue like the other man, it takes time. So focus on somebody to settle with, you know, and have a relationship with. It's going to be hard for you to find the good guy after sleeping with this lawyer, especially if you have already invested emotionally into this guy. You already, it's a good thing. I wish it happened more to women, honestly, because then women would have like they would sleep around less. They would be more selective, and we would have fewer slots out there, honestly. But it's a hard one, you know.
The good news is that if he turns out to be a simpy loser, then you won't have an alpha imprint and you're good to
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, it could go like either way. Okay, just yeah, tell us how how it goes if you
No,
if you
you don't need to do that.
well, I'm just curious. Okay, like how it was. I mean, like not the details, but like in terms of how you view it, how you perceive that kind of information that you'll have. Okay. So keep us posted. We want to follow your journey, kind of, to see where you are. Okay. Okay. She says Sam is a great win-win. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Ashton. You're my new favorite. You're my new favorite commenter.
Yeah. Nice. Okay, so we are over 2 hours. I think we will wrap it up today. I love this kind of stuff, guys. I'm going to share the links. Next week, I think we have a spiritual guru guy joining us. He is going to tell us how his best friend got married and she was a virgin. That's going to be interesting. I'm excited to see what he says.
Okay.
Okay, we will talk about that, and then we will talk about spirituality, how men should teach other men the spirituality and stuff. We'll probably end up debunking a lot of the spirituality messages as usual. Okay, got to run today. Sheep, Elena, take good care of our new young friend. Oh, we will. Ashton, stay with us, okay? We will.
We'll take good care of you
We will take
here.
care of you. Yeah, we will make sure that you are in good hands. Okay. So for now, ciao. Thanks for all the advice. Love you both. Oh, thank you, Ashton. We love you too.
Oh, so
Yeah,
much
I
love.
wish there were more women. I'm so glad that women start waking up and they start realizing that, oh my gosh, what other women are doing are not good things to do because they have very bad outcomes.
Me too. I love women. I think we should have more women around.
We should have more women. I'll try to invite more women. I have a few young women at the gym, actually. They are pretty decent girls out there and they are working out. So I'll try to get them here. And because I often get guys are reaching out to me and asking, do you know a single woman who is good looking and she doesn't have a fucked up personality? I'm like, you know how hard it is? It is really hard to find. So I'm so glad that Ashton joined us. She seems to be a decent woman out there. So we'll take care of her and we'll follow her journey. I'll be curious to see where she is and what kind of advice she chooses to implement into her life. Anyway, guys, just a quick disclaimer. Whatever you choose to do, we can't force you to do anything. Okay, we are just sharing you our thoughts, our observations based on what we know. So if you choose to follow some of those recommendations, it's based on your risks, okay, associated with that. We are not going to be liable for the outcomes of the results and the choices that you choose to make in your life, okay, just so that you know. You can say, oh, but you told me to do that.
You agree to hold us harmless.
Yes. We are just here chatting with a couple of friends. We hope to have Melody back. She was going to be busy. She told me that she couldn't make it to this meeting. And then I need to catch up with Pikir to find out what happened to him. He completely ghosted us.
Well, he's probably up there in like the Himalayas somewhere just doing cool stuff. That's probably
Having
what he's doing.
fun, yes, with
Yeah,
all the girls.
he doesn't need this internet stuff.
Yeah, the pick up artist books. Implementing some of the strategies. I'm so curious to get some guys here. Guys, if you want to show up for the show and tell us your story, women also, we are so excited to hear from you. I'm going to keep sharing the link to the live stream. I hope that live stream next time is not going to glitch as much as it glitched today. And we would love to have you here. Tell us your story. It will go a little faster if you just give us a call, because when you type, it takes a while to read your comments, to really think what you might wanted to say there, because there is a lot that goes into the misinterpretation or the message itself. Yeah, but usually it will take us faster to get through the stories. And if we get a few good stories here from like a man and a woman, we can take one man, we can take one woman, so that we can kind of follow their path and see. Okay, Sam was like, now we get to practice what we've learned so far in the red pill. Yeah, and bring more awareness to people. We will still debunk a lot of things for you, but I think it will help you to apply what red pill tells to people in practice. Okay, the actionable advice based on your story, because each story is unique and special. Yeah. Okay, well, I hope that you enjoyed. Please like, share, and subscribe. It helps us a lot. Go follow Sam. Did I mention your YouTube channel, Sam? Let me do it. Let me do it here. I'm going to share Sam's YouTube channel with you just in a moment. I'll just copy and paste here. So he has two YouTube channels. One is when he's talking about fitness and some
Oh, it's about anything.
anything.
Yeah.
Okay. And the other one is for construction, because Sam is a construction worker also. Okay, let me see if I can just copy and paste here. Cool. And I'll try to add Sam's YouTube channel under the description video, so you can follow him and follow him on Instagram. And yeah, remember to join us for next discussion next week. We'll try to keep it shorter next week. Okay. The guy will be from the UK talking about spirituality. So most likely we won't get the call in option, but then after that one, we will resume it. Okay. Sounds good?
Sounds great.
Great. Well, okay. Thank you, Sam. Thank you so much for doing it with me. You know, otherwise I would have given people some stupid advice like, oh, I'm a woman. Just don't date young chicks, right?
I'm here to keep you straight. Don't
Yes,
you worry.
thank you for doing this, because sometimes, like, from a female standpoint, I keep forgetting, like, I need to absorb the information from both viewpoints, and it's very helpful to have you here. Okay.
It's great to be here. A lot of
Thank
fun.
you, Sam. Yeah, we love you. Take care. Okay, everyone. Bye.